to another episode of Critical Critique Pulls on Point. Today we are going to be talking about the hot new meme anime
from 2 months ago.
From 5 months ago, yeah. The hot new meme anime, the Cyberpunks. We're going to be using. Honestly, we're just going to use Mother's Basement as an excuse to talk about Cyberpunk. Because God knows this video is not going to be interesting at all. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, let's we know the formula of Mother's Basement. Maybe he'll surprise us, but it's mostly just seeing him going, this is cool, look how it was cool, and then next scene, and I like this scene, it was cool, and then the next scene, I like this scene, it was cool.
This scene is totally punk, alright guys? Like, I mean, it's not like the fucking setting is called Cyberpunk, right? Like,
there's not a lot of running though in Edge Runners.
Not
mostly in cars though, right?
A little bit. I
mean, he's jogging at some point, but
I guess it depends on your definitions of things. But anyhow, so we've both watched the Edge Runners, and I think we can all agree that Rebecca is best girl, and
yeah.
Oh man, we don't have to touch on that whole fucking fiasco. I just found like the fact that because you had the situation of someone at CDPR be like, oh, we wanted to veto her out of the show because she's a lolly and lollies don't fit the setting, which I could go on a fucking 20-minute diatribe on why that's stupid. But then you have Trigger just being like, no, the lolly stays. And the thing is they were right, because she ended up becoming like even more popular than Lucy, which is kind of fucking crazy when you think about it.
I do want to say that there is a little bit more to that statement, because the
problem with what that whole drama was, she made the statement, and then I believe there was an interview that came out in Japanese after that gave like more context to it, and it wasn't actually like, because the way she described it and the way that it was described in the Japanese article were tonally different.
Yeah, because the article, I believe even the interview said the next line was, but when we saw the concept art, we were on board. So
yeah. But again, I think this is a problem with like, she's on a live stream, probably got asked a question about it, or like it came up as like a thing off the top of her head. She's like, oh, I remember that. I voted to veto her. And I was one of the people that wanted to get rid of it, right? So I'm not going to necessarily blame her
because most people is a concept artist kind of person in early art, in early development. I don't know.
I think the chick on the stream was like what was her actual role? I can't quite remember. It was like, she was in a position of power within the process. So she was voting alongside other people whether or not to veto the character based on her words. So it's one of those interesting things where I feel like she just didn't really think about like how what she said was going to be interpreted, again, like I said, I think that's fair, because most people don't actually like on the fly think about that.
Also,
because obviously we know what happened after the fact and how it got interpreted.
Right? But also, in the end, after they saw the concept art, they were on board. So it was very early in development, and it was just a short description of this is the character, this is what she's kind of like, and then I'm not vibing with the character. That's all it is at that point. And there are maybe like 5 other characters that got rejected and stayed rejected. We don't know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I found the situation to be insanely hilarious.
And also kind of a bit of nothing.
No, I don't know if it was nothing, because I think that, you know, if we go off her reasoning, right? Because she said, we didn't think it fit Cyberpunk, or she specifically didn't think it fit Cyberpunk. fuck that. Oh god, that's so stupid. That's so stupid.
Well, I'm
like,
still.
You know for a fact, if you're in a world where you can literally modify your body in God knows how many ways, you can give yourself fucking spider legs, right? Like, or some shit. You can put a fucking mantis claw in your arm,
in your leg,
right? Or anywhere, right? You can put a mantis claw in your ass, right? You know damn well there are going to be people that are going to be, modifying themselves to look as young as humanly fucking possible, specifically to cater to a very particular type of rich person.
Nah, the thing is,
you know that's gonna happen, especially in this fucking setting, right?
My final opinion on this thing is that the exonerating part of it all is that she was on board when she saw the concept art. She didn't believe it was possible, and it was possible, and she was fine with it.
Well, that's not what she said. That's what the other people said when they saw the concept art, because I don't think that Japanese interview was her.
I thought I heard her say that when she saw the concept art, because
whatever. It might be. It was a while ago. I don't know. But like, yeah, I don't care. We got to get back. See, we're trying to put off doing the Mother's Basement video, right? Because we know it's gonna be boring as shit. So we're trying to find. So I guess before we but the quick thing before we jump straight in, right? We both watched Cyberpunk. I am somewhat familiar with Cyberpunk. No, I haven't played it. It's a shame Lolly's not here, because Lolly has actually been into the tabletop version thing of it.
I played a fair bit of Cyberpunk on release.
Right, so
I was kind of fine with the release version on PC.
Oh, you mean the game? I'm talking about tabletop shit.
You said you didn't play Cyberpunk, but
No, I didn't play. Yeah, I didn't play Cyberpunk. I do know a bit about the tabletop because I talked to Lolly about it. But I'm just saying, I wish Lolly was here because he knows a lot more about that side of it. I haven't played the video game.
You didn't watch the series, so.
Yeah, he didn't watch. I don't think he watched the series either. I haven't played the game. We could have a discussion about that because that's the current fucking hot news. About how the anime saved the game. But I guess we could save that for when we actually get into the video.
Maybe I'll bet he mentioned something about it.
He might. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I just figured, that's kind of where we're coming from here. So the video is Edge Runners is peak punk anime, and I got a sneaking suspicion I know where he's gonna go with this. But let's just see. Let's just see what happens.
And for the slight disclaimer that we don't know. We are not into punk. We are not into the culture of punk.
I know enough tangential random information.
And I just read the Wikipedia article on punk, I am.
Yeah. We've done some real research.
I am peaked informed.
Peak informed. All right, let's get into it.
That's a surprisingly tough question. It's easy enough to identify what punk isn't, like the Sex Pistols, but their posing is only so easy.
Whoa. Is he trying to say that the Sex Pistols are not punk?
Because they're posers. They sold out, I guess. I don't know. I don't actually know.
Fucker. No, he's being fucking retarded right now. So the Sex Pistols are the fucking original punk. Right?
Then he's being.
And I know this because I've actually I've watched videos on this, and I know a little bit about the history of this. So no, the Sex Pistols were actually the fucking progenitors of the fucking music genre.
I don't know.
You can't.
I think maybe
so you can't. He can't. Yeah, no, I can. Let me get to it because it's a political bullshit thing, right? He's doing a political, right? Because in most recent years, actually, Count Dankula did a fucking video on him, the lead singer. That's where I got this info from. So after the band kind of disbanded, for varying reasons, that guy moved to America. and he became a fucking like Trump supporter. And his logic behind that was actually very interesting, because to him, he viewed being a Trump supporter as being anti-establishment. Which is interesting and kind of true when you think about it.
Well, it's trading political establishment for financial establishment, so I don't know.
Oh no, I don't even think it's financial. I don't think he was getting paid for it.
No, he's trading
and why would you come out as a Trump supporter if you wanted to get paid? You're going to get cancelled and you're going to get fucking
more that
like,
Trump is big money.
Ridiculed. Well, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
No, he's a rich guy with land.
That's why. Anyway, that's why Mother's Basement is trying to dismiss the role that the Sex Pistols played.
He might be just having a little bit of a gaggle. I have no idea.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is, because I know enough about Mother's Basement as a person to know that that's exactly the kind of petty, petulant bullshit that he would try to pull. Oh, just because he became a political fucking, my opposite, right? That means it's fair game for me to be factually incorrect about the fucking... So this does not bode well for the rest of the video, is what I'm getting at. This is really bad. Already 10 seconds in,
and
I have become the triggered.
I don't know who the Sex Pistols are.
Oh man, you little baby. You little baby. Yeah. Go watch Count Dankula's fucking...
I should read the Wikipedia again.
No, Count Dankula's video is really good. He gets real into stuff. It. Well, it talks about the origins of punk, because, again, the Sex Pistols are like the founding fucking, like, foundation of it. One of the founding fucking, like, bands of the entire, like, movement and genre. So it's like, you can't, it's just stupid. It's really stupid.
To spot, because it's so hard to grasp and codify what punk really is. You can ape the aesthetic, parrot the culture, perfectly reproduce the style of top acts, and still get pegged as a fake-ass boy band, because in hitting those marketing targets, you missed the fucking point. Punk is an attitude, an ethos. It is the hot, passionate sound of the human spirit screaming out against a cold, uncaring world that would constrain and commodify it. And in the world of anime, nobody embodies that ethos better than Hiroyuki Imaishi and Studio Trigger. It comes through in their heroes who spit in the face of authority, and in their bold, experimental style that flies in the face of conventional animation standards. There is no anime team or artist, period, better equipped to put the punk
is a lot of big statements there.
Than Trigger.
There's a lot of big statements. I don't necessarily disagree. I just don't think, like, because I hate the idea of, oh, punk is this nebulous bullshit that's hard to define and codify. That means I can call Studio Trigger punk because I can make punk whatever I want, right? It's kind of like it's like a circular logic kind of thing, where it's like, oh, because this thing is vague, right? And I don't disagree, right? Like, punk is like an idea, is like, I mean, you've read the Wikipedia article. That's going to be the meme for this. That's going to be the meme for this fucking cast, right? Ali's read the Wikipedia article, right? Like, it basically just says, right, anti-authority,
anti-authority, anti-corporatism, and not selling out, and
yeah, like those are some very like general traits, right? Like you could make that, like, those traits are in a lot of shows. Right? Especially anti-authority, because the Japanese, in terms of, like, they do like their anti-authority escapism, because obviously as a society they're a very, authority-driven society.
Yeah, but also,
right? You go to work.
What kind of conflict would you have if there was always a government with police to solve it? So yeah. It's so it's kind of like, my issue with his point is not necessarily that he's, like, wrong in the sense of his, like, identification of what it... Like, I disagree with the point that it's vague. I disagree with the fact that he's trying to use that as, like, oh, it's vague, therefore I'm just going to call Studio Trigger punk without, like... justify... I just miss justifications. I mean, I would agree, Trigger does big, expressive explosions. I'm not particularly on board on the fact that Studio Trigger has a different animation style, per se.
I mean, they have you have to remember the lineage, right? They are former Gynax, so it's kind of like
is Gurren Lagann
I don't know if I
also punk.
Yeah,
I mean, it's also kind of anti-authoritarian in a sense. No, fight the power. Is that punk? I don't really think so.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm getting at. Like, I just feel like I feel like he's trying to, like, cut a criticism off of the past almost with that, because people are obviously going to be like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Kill's not punk.
Yeah. I am in agreement that punk is vague enough. It's kind of like, what is a Western? How is this? What is the difference between a slasher and a horror, and what is the cutoff point between a slasher and a horror, etc.? Is it when it's scary? Is it that a horror? No. Can a horror movie be not scary? Maybe. That kind of fake stuff.
All right, let's continue.
So I went into their new Netflix original Cyberpunk Edgerunners with my expectations sky high, and it still blew them out of the water.
Okay, pause real quick.
Here's
because
why. After this word from our
sponsors.
Oh well, he's about to do a sponsor.
What were your expectations?
Yeah, I didn't have any expectations really going in, because I actually hadn't heard a lot about this before, because I knew that they had commissioned it before, because they announced this like before the game even came out, right? I believe.
Yeah, I remember something vague like that.
Yeah, they had announced before the game had even come out, during like the hype cycle of the game. They were like, "Hey, we've commissioned an anime by Studio Trigger or whatever." So this has been in production for quite a while, but I wasn't particularly like interested or, super hype for it, I guess.
I mean, people commission commissioning Studio Trigger is kind of a thing you do, kind of a marketing thing to do, because
it's how Trigger makes money. So,
well, Shantae and was it the Seven Sirens? Also had an animated intro, an intro scene, intro of the game, animated
which was done by Trigger. Yeah.
So it's getting Trigger to do something is a thing you can do. So it wasn't that hyped or, infused by just having Trigger do something.
No, and I wasn't particularly hyped by the fact it's a cyberpunk anime, right? Because I'm not, I like the aesthetic of cyberpunk, but I'm not particularly, I wouldn't call myself like a fan of the franchise or however you'd put it.
Yeah, I'm personally
I know a little bit about it, and I know that it's a very interesting setting, and it's quite popular, but I wasn't particularly like, I was like, oh man, fucking cyberpunk anime, holy shit, that's gonna be cool. So when it did come out, and I kept hearing, like, even before like the Rebecca stuff and the memes and all of that shit, right? I was hearing, no, this is actually pretty good, like it's actually a good show. I thought, well, I mean, I've got Netflix, fuck it, I'll fucking give it a go. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, so my trajectory is kind of the same. It was, way back when. I completely forgot about it until you mention it right now. Studio Trigger is doing anime. All right, I have no idea what it even means, practically, so I forgot about it. Then, kind of, 3 weeks ago, oh no, it's slightly longer.
It was long ago, yeah.
Then it was something of a poster. I thought, those characters look kind of neat. Hey, that jacket kind of looks like the one V has, but it's different enough. All right, it's a different thing. And then there was that trailer with the semi-classical motif underneath it, which looked very exciting and was super, super busy and loud, and they had everything in Cyberpunk, the game that I play, 2077. It had all the elements of 2077, and it looked cool. So I thought, all right, I'll be watching this when I want to.
Yeah.
And then the anime came out.
And then the memes happened. It came out and the memes.
Well, it was first, it's really good. And then I saw some art and thought, all right, people like it enough to draw stuff, to talk about it. I'm going to watch it. Yeah. And then I spent an evening watching it.
I watched it over the course of a few days, so it was kind of interesting. I got to see the memes go down in real time while I'm watching it, because I was watching it slow. Because when I binge, I typically binge over the course of a week. I don't do it all in one go that often. So I watched 2 or 3 episodes a day over the course of a few days, and I thought, it was pretty good. We can probably do a review closer to the end, because we're still a minute in.
Yeah. So, well, this is still what our thoughts coming in as we come into the video.
Yeah, our thoughts coming in. Yeah. So my thoughts coming in. Yeah, I didn't have any I wasn't setting my expectations high or low. I was just kind of going in with let's give this a shot. Let's see what it's like, right? Let's just give it a fair, unbiased. Could be good, could be bad. Let's just see what happens. And I was pleasantly surprised by how good it was. And I love it. Yeah, I love how we're a minute in and Mother's Basement's already about to fucking try and sell me some bullshit.
Have to,
which is quite fun. Which is quite ironic, considering he tried to call the Sex Pistols not punk, while he's fucking sitting here about to fucking... We're probably going to get 5 advertisements in this one video.
I don't know, Retsu. I don't recall when I skimmed Wikipedia that Sex Pistol was on there, so maybe they aren't punk.
Oh, well, whatever. Let's go.
Corpo sponsor. Has this ever happened to you? Well, you wouldn't be dead right now if you ditched your...
Okay.
I don't want to, because jumping around and watch together causes problems. I guess
I'm just going to put the volume on rather low for this bit,
and we'll just talk. It's just talk over it.
The problem thing is that I can lower the volume.
Oh wow, he's shilling Opera GX. Okay, that's a new one.
I've seen this ad somewhere else when I skipped over it.
Well, here's the thing. If it's being advertised by Mother's Basement, it's probably trash. So I don't know how to feel about that.
I do hear...
See, I'm a based in Vivaldi pilled user. I don't fucking play no goddamn... use no goddamn opera.
Nah, I've...
Hey, Vivaldi's can do that too. What the fuck?
Nah...
Oh, wow. Holy shit. His face has gotten puffy. Jesus.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit of a chubby cheeks.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, this is just copied from Wallpaper Engine.
Yeah.
Well, I do heard that Opera is the one who invents all the nifty features, and then everybody copies it.
Maybe.
Like Tabs was Opera first, and then it came to everywhere else, so... I'm not hating on Opera in general.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna hate on it either. I'm just it's like how most oh Jesus, never do that again. It's like how, Manscaped, right? Is a big thing that gets advertised by YouTubers, and it turns out it's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff, it's like... Yeah, it's kind of... You can't necessarily trust it just because it's being advertised by a YouTuber, is what I'm saying. Right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just pausing it so we can kind of cap off and then move on once he gets back into his point. We need to have a breather.
Yeah. I'm just seeing a lot of... I watch some anti-crypto stuff from time to time because I hate the crypto.
Yeah, you're a big anti of the crypto boys.
Yeah, because they're stupid.
When are we doing the 8-hour NFT video? Come on. we're gonna spend like fucking 15 days Like, we'll have to take breaks.
Oh dear.
Multiple recording sessions.
Nah, I just
to do that.
just want to mention there's this ad that I see out every now and again of Revolt or something. It's a credit.
Revolt. I've never seen it.
It's a credit
Then
card.
again, I don't get ads.
Yeah. Well, I'm watching on my phone every now and again, and then there I get the ads. It's kind of annoying. But
interesting, because I don't get ads at all.
Oh.
Because one I am a based in YouTube Red fucking buyer, and two, there are
you're
plenty.
giving money to the corporate.
But no, okay. In my defense, I do it for YouTube Music. I don't actually do it for YouTube.
Yeah.
There's
I'm
also
going to
I will link you some shit that might help you with that.
Alright. But,
Later. I'll do that later.
So Revolt is some kind of a credit card thing. It sells itself as a way to hide your credit card number, which is not really relevant for me because I don't use that credit cards often enough. But
wouldn't PayPal just do that as well?
I don't really know, but
like, isn't that how PayPal? Like, if you use PayPal as like a middleman, doesn't it like work like? I don't
know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm living in the Europe where credit cards are a rarity and debit is everything that every works on.
I guess I guess the same logic would apply though. Like, it's if you used a credit versus a debit for the same thing.
Yeah.
And the thing. See, the one that I've been getting, like, not because I get ads, but because YouTubers sponsor them, is Cash App. If you've heard that one.
No.
I don't quite understand it. It's like a bank that's not a bank or something. It's like PayPal, where it's used for like transferring money between people that have the app. It's kind of weird. But anyway,
to finish my Revolt ad thing. I heard that it's actually a crypto thing where you are supposed to get mad returns on the money you put in.
Oh yeah.
And it's so that hide your credit card thing they advertise is actually funded or facilitated by crypto, and if you use it, you're actually buying crypto and doing crypto stuff, and it can, which means it can fall apart at any moment whenever the.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not too keen on that. But anyway, let's see what Mother's Basement's got to say.
Wouldn't be fair to credit Edgerunner's immense quality solely to Imaishi. I just didn't have time to say any more names before that ad had to run. What can I say?
What? My brother in Christ, you're the one editing and creating the video. This is a 25-minute fucking video.
Well, you say that.
What are you talking about?
You say he's the one editing it.
Well, okay, fine. He's not editing it, but you're the one making the script, right? Like, what? What a stupid statement. I'm sorry. That is crazy. You could have put that advertisement at any point in the goddamn video, unless he's like contractually obligated to put it a minute into the video.
Still, he can rewrite the script to put the names elsewhere.
Or it's some nonsense. Like, that's such a oh god, I hate Mother's Basement so fucking much.
We live in a society. Yoshinari serves as the series' character designer,
other
and
names.
Most of you probably have no idea who that is.
Well, I will give him kind of credit in that he's doing something that we kind of criticize. Like, we usually criticize other people for, like, oh, we're not talking about the actual staff and what their part is and what they do, and here's like other things that they've done, right?
People credit a single person for the entire game, says lead creator guy, creator of Deus Ex.
And I mean, he made the joke about that, I guess, is what he did just before, but it's like, yeah, people do that a lot where they'll be like, oh, the director of the anime is like the guy that does everything. Hell, I swear we've criticized him for this actually in the past, where he's done the same thing.
One recording or two recordings ago, there was this guy that says director of Monogatari, and it wasn't.
Oh yeah, that was that guy. But I know for a fact in one of the past Mother's Basement videos we've criticized him for this. So I mean, I guess credit to Mother's Basement if he's actually going to talk about like, oh, here's like the staff members and what they've done in the past, and you know why that would it lead you to think that this could be good, right? Like, because that's part of improving media literacy is being able to be like, you know, look at the staff on the anime and go, that guy worked on that thing. This might actually be good. You know, like be able to do that, right, is part of improving the current problem. So no credit, like, you know, I hate Mother's Basement as a person, but I'll give him credit here. This is actually really good. So I'm actually interested to learn more. So
let's continue, because seeing Rebecca like that is kind of uncomfortable.
Imaginable, but dude was the mechanical animation director for Neon Genesis Evangelion, who then went on to design all the mechs in Tengen Toppa Gurren fucking Lagann, and then he created Little Witch Academia along with all of its incredible characters, which is all extremely relevant experience for creating a grungy undercity full of badass, blinged out cyborgs. Thanks to his talents and those of assistant character designers Yuto Kaneko and Yusuke Yoshigaki, literally every background character and random bloodbag goon in this entire show manages to be memorable and interesting in their own way, and the violence the series exacts upon and with those memorable, interesting human weapons is some of the most imaginative in all of anime. Y'all know how much
there's a lot of words, and
he just kind of. Okay, so I credit him for actually using the people's names and actually crediting them properly, right? But then he just kind of goes into just word salad. Like he just kind of, it just kind of like devolves into like a whole lot of words to say a whole lot of nothing.
It's just a big, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have like. I mean, I could point out like the hypocrisy of him being fine with the violence versus the. I mean, I wonder if he's going to bring up the sexual element and see how, like, because I'm gonna. My big brain prediction is he's going to be like, oh no, this fan service and the nudity and this is fine because it's quote unquote tasteful, quote unquote. I swear to Christ, I know he's going to say that,
no,
but we'll see. We'll see.
I can always put out a big criticism of Cyberpunk as a whole as. It obligates female characters to be naked when they're doing their female assigned role as a netrunner.
Well, you're not necessarily. You don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, but it's mostly so big critiques.
Well, I mean, well, no, like my counter to that criticism is there are male netrunners that also do the same thing. So it's like you can't be like. I mean, obviously in the show. They only showed female netrunners because the two netrunners on the team just so happened to be female, and whether or not that was a design choice just so they can be naked or not, probably was. But
you see,
I'm not gonna complain about that.
That's male gaze in action right there.
Fuck off. Anyway, let's go.
I love my cartoon violence. Not to mention, the series' soundtrack was composed by Silent Hill maestro Akira Yamaoka, whose legendary talents really speak for themselves, especially when the series dips into full-on psychological horror. But I'm getting way ahead of myself, and even with all that said, while many others do deserve credit for its success, Edgerunners is an unmistakable Imaishi joint through and through. It plays to many of the same themes as his most famous works. Brash, high-spirited youth pushing back against a broken society that denies the common people their dreams, a scrappy crew united by trust and friendship in a world where those things are often liabilities, a great but dangerous and double-edged...
because I like Edgerunners. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm just not feeling the justifications for all the things he's saying.
Yeah, again, he's just saying words that don't really mean anything. Like, okay, so yeah, it's these scrappy young Edgerunners fighting the mayor. Like...
He could at least put on some Kill la Kill footage, because that's...
Well, the thing is like, I don't think that the show necessarily presents it like that, though. Like, because the way it's presented in my mind is like, this is like the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking shitty. The world is shitty, right? Like, you're in this, like, because, I mean, the world building, and I honestly think he should be talking about that instead of talking about the characters, because the world building is why the characters are doing what they're doing. Right? Because the world is one in which it's like, oh, you didn't pay for like the premium subscription plan on your health insurance. Guess that the fucking mid-tac fucking SWAT isn't gonna pick you up and save your mum.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Or like, you know, I mean, I know we're getting into kind of spoiler territory on some of this, but it's like, I mean, it's the first episode, I guess, and you know.
Well, what you've seen is the last episode on screen, so
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, you know, spoilers, whatever. But like, or like, oh, you didn't pay for like the premium like plan. I guess we couldn't save your mom in the hospital. Here's your like canister. Oh, you didn't pay your rent. Guess you're locked. Guess your fucking washing machine stops working because you didn't pay for the subscription model on your washing machine to wash your clothes.
Want to flush the toilet? Pay up.
Yeah, like you're in this like incredibly like dystopian fucking world where corporations are running everything. The government's practically fucking an afterthought at this point, right?
Yeah, there's no.
You need to make money somehow, so that's how these edge runners make money. When you know they do these jobs for the corpos or for the fixers.
Well, and the fixers work for a corporation, so it.
Yeah. And then
This is what I.
So
don't
you're doing the dirty work
for the corpos
for the corp
at every
so
level. So
you can make the money to pay the yeah. So it's like there's just layers upon layers of shitty is what I'm getting at, right? And my point is that this isn't like a story about this like ragtag group of guys is gonna like stick it to the man and overthrow the big bad. It's like, no, that's not actually the story. The story is like, okay, here's like it's like a vertical slice, right? In gaming terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a vertical slice of what it is like to live in this fucked world, right? And I think that that's more the point of the story. Like it's showcasing like this is what it would be like.
Yeah,
if you were in this setting, right?
It's less about like you said, it's less about an uppity, yay, let's fight the power. And it's more indeed a depressing look into a world that stops caring.
Yeah. And
which is why I don't like cyberpunk as a setting as a whole. It's far too depressing.
Yeah, it's kind of is, but that's why I'm like confused by Mother's Basement's point here, because it's real. Like if you compare, because Kill the Kill comes up, right?
Yeah.
Like you compare the story of Kill the Kill versus the story of this, and the characterization of the characters and their motivations, right? Like Rikyo's motivation is, trying to find out who killed my dad, and alongside that, fighting the authority of, the other characters,
and eventually the aliens that secretly control
and eventually
the world.
The aliens themselves. Yeah, so it escalates, right? But like the through line of it is obviously row fight the power, self identity, blah 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 blah, all the other tangential stuff in Kill the Kill, right? That's not in Edge Runners. It's completely different feeling.
It's always about. I think Edge Runners is more about if the world stops caring, then the only path is self-destruction kind of deal. Because none of the characters are kind of they have to destroy them themselves or by modifying themselves to even be a functioning member. Cyber implants and stuff.
And the interesting thing about that is, so Mike Pondsmith himself. So Mike Pondsmith is the guy that helped create the setting in the tabletop, right? He had an interesting post that he put out on Reddit that was posted on Twitter that I read, where he explains what cyberpsychosis actually is. So this is going to be a little bit of a tangent, but so
lore.
Cyberpsychosis is, as it's presented in the show, right, is the more cybernetic enhancements you get, the more you replace the biological with the technological.
The heavier it weighs on your soul.
Kind of. It is kind of like that. So it fucks with your brain, and eventually you will go cyber psycho, which is where you essentially go fucking insane and start killing everyone. Yeah. Right? The way it's explained in the Reddit post is he mentions that it's like the way they wanted to portray it was as if it was a drug addiction, right? Where the more how like a junkie will go psycho and do anything for another fix or whatever, right? But he portrays it and he talks about it like as if, like you said, like it weighs on your soul and it removes your humanity. And that's represented in the tabletop game as you actually have a humanity stat. And that stat affects things like how you're able to empathize with people and how you're able to communicate, like actually function as a human. And the more you remove the human and put in the machine, the less you are able to empathize with people. And that's why, and you start seeing people as like lesser, as like insects.
Yeah.
Right? And our boy Adam Smasher down there is the embodiment of that thing where he literally just doesn't give a shit. He's just fucking, like, so that's kind of like, I'd have to go and bring up the post and actually, like, because it was a very long post, so I can't really read it verbatim.
Well, the thing about cyberpsychosis in this show...
But the interesting point about it is this idea of, it's like you're saying, right? You're in this world that doesn't care, and you are sacrificing yourself and your humanity to just be able to function in this dystopian fucking hellscape. And so the story is kind of like, well, where do you find the humanity that's left, right? And that's kind of where the relationship between our boy here and Lucy kind of, comes in, right? And how, like, they're trying to, like, essentially just, like, retain their humanity in this really fucked up situation that they find themselves in.
The thing is, why I don't like Cyberpunk, because it makes me sad. They fail, and that's what is so sad.
Oh yeah, we could get to that maybe at the end.
I did want to say that I feel that cyberpsychosis might be the end result, but the addiction is not really to enhancements or becoming more enhanced, but it really is about the power it gives.
I should preference. It's not like when I mentioned the drug thing, he mentioned that not necessarily as like, oh, we were trying to copy that, where it's like, oh, I need, like, you get addicted to just adding more and more and more and more stuff on. He was mentioning that more as like a real life reference point of like, okay, how someone would act once they're like gone cyber psycho.
Yeah, because
right?
The thing about you have Maine. You have the character of Maine, who doesn't want to downgrade big because he'll lose something, and it's weird that the thing that makes him lose humanity is the thing because he doesn't want to give something up. And David is basically the same thing, and it's sad. I'm sad.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Power inherited from a lost parent. Villains who abandon their humanity in pursuit of wealth, status, and...
Well, actually, no, because... Wait a minute. Because his mum, right, didn't want him to become a fucking cyberpunk. His mum wanted him to go to school and become a corpo. Like, that wasn't her wish at all. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? It's not,
I think
what power? Like, the power. I guess he's talking about like the Stacy or whatever it's called, the fucking like slow down time implant or whatever. Like maybe that's what he means. But like,
what was the line? Because I think the video skipped forward a little bit.
Let me go. Okay, let me go back and we'll try.
Crew united by trust and friendship in a world where those things are often liabilities. A great but dangerous and double-edged power inherited from a lost parent.
Okay, yeah, he is talking. I was gonna, yeah. I don't think I would say it. I get what he's trying to say because he's trying to say, oh, so his mum had the Stacy. I believe it's called the Stacy. It's called like something else.
Santa Vista, something. Santa Vista.
Santa Vista or the Stacy, right? Like her mom had the Stacy because she stole it because she was going to sell it to mine.
Yeah.
Right. And so he takes that power. I wouldn't say that's like inherited power.
I think he's just being poetic.
Yeah, he's being poetic about it, and I don't. Yeah, it would be kind of pedantic, I guess, to kind of be like, oh, well, I mean, it's not actually what it, because I don't agree that it's like, because when I think about like inherited power, I'd think about like, oh, the king gave his son, the prince, the sword that's magic or what, like, like I don't think about like, it's like I get his logic, but I just don't agree. I wouldn't describe it like that.
Yeah, let's continue. Anyway, it's pedantic.
Villains who abandon their humanity in pursuit of wealth, status, and control. A wimpy runt protagonist who hulks up and hunks up after the communa gets communa'd. Huge fights and car chases with just all the collateral damage all the time. And then, of course, there's the horny. So much horny, like, holy shit. This thirsty motherfucker's clearly been jonesing for a Netflix deal ever since he saw what Devilman got away with. And no, I'm not gonna show it to you, not on YouTube anyway, but let's just say that blood ain't the only thing you'll see squirting in this anime. With that said...
It's only like one scene in episode 1.
I would argue that... Yeah, well, no, I would argue that the sex is definitely a part of the fun. It's part of the setting essentially, right? And I feel like they did a pretty good job of like it's there, but it's not treated as like a fan servicey kind of thing. Like it's just presented as being like just part of the fucking world, right? Like it's like the net runners, as we were mentioning before, right?
Yeah.
Like they're in these like baths of ice, literally because they're like otherwise they'd overheat. Right, like it's part of the fucking.
Yeah, that's the implication. I mean, I've never seen the actual reasoning, but that's the logical conclusion.
The logical conclusion. So it's like, yeah, they're naked in a bathtub of ice because of fucking obvious. But like, yeah, I mean, this is more of a personal mother's basement peeve. I think I brought it up before. It's like, yeah, okay, well, I guess the sex is fine in this, but it's not fine in other things because it's mother's basement. But in terms of the show itself, though, I will agree that I feel like it's definitely not portrayed in a very gratuitous manner. It's like, I mean, it's on the same level as the violence, right? Like, it's not
thing I would
shown...
If I'm going... let me use a little bit of big words again.
Oh boy, big brain time.
Contradict myself very hardly immediately. That it's less... male gaze-ish. It's not for the enjoyment of the viewer per se. It's more of to inform you of the world.
I guess. I mean, my feelings about male gaze theory in general, but like, I believe I get what you're trying to say though. I think there's definitely a difference in how it's there, and yeah, it's just it's mother's basement making that point annoys the shit out of me. But anyway.
You will also see blood squirting, like, a lot of it. Again, holy shit. Anime hasn't been this wet since the 80s OVA boom. In many senses, Edge Runners is Imaishi unleashed. I'd say uncut, but so many people get cut in this show. So many different ways. It hits every vivisection intersection you can imagine. In other senses, though, this might be his most constrained, down-to-earth work yet. Imaishi and his team have always gone big with their action.
Can you pause real quick? Because there was also the one with the school kids having some superpowers, and that was kind of almost that was slice of life.
I get the point he's trying to make here, but it's like
he's forgetting the show, which was a slice of life, but the characters had superpowers and they continued with their slice of life.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I'm just saying, like, the idea, like, the point that he makes about, anime has been this violent since the 80s or whatever, and it's like, yeah, I wonder whose fault that is. I wonder...
American credit card
I wonder
companies.
why. Yeah, I wonder whose fault it is that fucking... There's this fucking, like... no, I'm not gonna go on the rant. I'm not gonna do it.
Usually they do so in a cartoony, consequence-light fashion that lets heroes and villains alike take and dish out an astonishing amount of punishment just for the sheer fun of it. And this heightened reality serves to complement his work's generally upbeat tone and optimistic outlook. At the end of the day, despite facing often literally astronomical odds, his heroes all get to save the day.
Right, can you pause real quick? Because I'm forgetting. Did Imaishi work on Gurren Lagann?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said. I think Marvel's Basement said that.
All right. I mean, I was just kind of iffy with the Gurren Lagann insert into a trigger thing, but I know there's a lot of staff overlap.
I mean, it's kind of yeah.
But I'm just looking for my proper accreditations.
But anyway,
mostly happily ever after in junk. His works are all comedies in the modern and classical sense of the word. Cyberpunk's setting doesn't really allow for that sort of outcome, though, and not just in the sense that it would be a massive retcon, since this is a prequel to Cyberpunk 2077 set in 2076, and, that civilization still exists then. Citizens of Night City, even special and talented ones, simply don't have the power, fire or otherwise, to score anything more than Pyrrhic victories against the megacorps. The corporate grip on human civilization is unyielding and absolute in this world. But with so many people to govern, so few of whom help their bottom line, the cracks in that civilization have been allowed to yawn as wide as chasms, leaving plenty of room for the savvy and talented to make a life for themselves within.
Because
he's just explaining the setting right now. There's not really any point being made. So.
Yeah, that's why. I'm not I don't want to have here Mother's Basement for prolonged periods of time. I just need a pause.
Yeah, we need a break, because it's like, he does he's doing the thing where it's like, oh, let me just explain the show to you. It's like, oh, God.
I do really like Faraday's character design.
I do too. I like the three eyes.
I've never thought of a character with 4 eyes and 3 on the same side.
3 on one side.
And I think
it definitely adds to the like menacing corpo.
And it's
kind of like,
oh damn,
thing.
some guy would have 3 eyes on the same side. Never ever have thought of that before.
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
And even hang on to it for a good while, so long as they know to keep their heads down. Which, of course, has never been a strong suit of Imaishi's protagonists. In fact, if you asked most of them to keep their heads down, they'd start jumping out of spite and maybe even yell, "You can't tell me what to do, fuckers!" Thus, an Imaishi story set in Night City could only ever really be one thing: a tragedy. And in keeping with that, while the action stays hilariously over the top throughout, enabled by all that hardcore cybernetic hardware, the consequences of that action are now commensurate and constant. Like someone suddenly switched God mode off.
The fun action, the car scene, which was silly, was still in episode 2 when the vibe was still silly, and it kind of changed very quickly in episode 4, and then the city stopped.
I mean the vibe. I mean the overall world building and vibe was established fucking since episode 1, right? And I kind of like. I think by about halfway through, I kind of already knew where this was going. Pretty early on, and that's like one of my actual criticisms of the show is that it's very predictable. Like I knew exactly where it was going to go pretty early on, and I feel like I'm not. But when I say that as like a criticism, it's like I have to like fucking. That's like a nitpick almost. Like it's not like, oh well, I mean it was predictable, therefore it's bad. Like it was still good. It's just like. Yeah, no, I see where you're going with this. Like, if it didn't go that way, I'd be surprised. But like,
I do think the even just the opening was, I read the opening as, oh damn, he's going his way, he's doing fine, and then he's breaking apart, and at the end, the big corporate man who's tall and standing, imposing, is going to kill him. And that's basically the entire series. But pretty much. But I do have to admit,
doesn't necessarily go exactly like the OP, but it does.
Well, it does thematically.
Thematically, yes. So I'm kind of like
the big imposing tower man shoots him eventually.
Yeah.
But I was kind of feeling a little bit optimistic in episodes 4 and 5. But after 6 was, sad. Main character, side character dies. And then I saw episode 7, and I saw that he had a big bunch of cybernetics, and then I thought, oh damn.
Yeah, you know where it's going.
He's going to fall apart.
Know where it's going.
He's got all those cybernetics, it's going to break him down. And then I just... Yeah, that's right. So... Looping back to Mike Pondsmith's thing about cyberpsychosis, he mentions that certain people have different tolerances, and people with more humanity, right, are able to have more cybernetics before losing their mind, which is why our boy here is able to use the Stacy so much initially when he didn't have so many cybernetics, because he had a natural... And that's why Arasaka wanted him. Because he's like a 1 in a million, like, genetic abnormality. A social abnormality, actually.
So social and probably genetic as well.
Bit,
the way it's presented in like Pondsmith's writing on the post is like it's less about like genetic and more about like how well you're able to maintain your humanity in spite of the world around you being so fucking shit. So that's an interesting. There's just a tidbit I've remembered when we were talking about
falling apart,
him falling apart, right? Because he does like the end result is like he pushes himself to the limit of his specialness, right? Because he is special, but he pushes it past the point.
He's not that special.
In which he could get exactly. But anyway, let's get to
typical Looney Tune. Please do not get mad at me for spoiling you by saying that tragedy thing, by the way. The opening of this show literally closes on the main character getting shot in the face by a man made of skyscrapers. Edge Runners is not subtle about where it's going or what it's about. Though what is subtle is how that same opening carefully edits down Franz Ferdinand's This Fire to remove all references to burning down the city, because that simply isn't an option for these characters. Can you
pause real quick? Because, he's Mother's Basement saying something smart, and which I agree with. Oh, damn.
Oh, boy. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I listened to... I thought the opening was neat, the song was neat, and I thought, Franz Ferdinand, I like the one where he's singing about... hey, don't you know? I say,
know. Take me out. Yeah. Take me out's real good. Yeah.
Take me out. And I did listen to the actual song, and it indeed mentioned burning. I'm going to burn this city. I am on fire. I'm out of control. And the opening doesn't mention burning down the city. So
yeah, it's an interesting creative choice.
I wonder why. Maybe because the city never burned and it's only him.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, leaves only the singer himself to be burned up by the fire inside. This anime has a lot of subtle layers like that. Plot beats that carry extra meaning if you get the reference are a signature of Trigger's style, after all. And that does leave me feeling like I might have missed a lot by not yet having played Cyberpunk 2077, but I didn't feel like I needed to at any point.
Pause again, because now I as a gamer who actually played this game.
Me as a pro gamer.
I'm a very pro gamer. Every goddamn scene and place in this in the anime is a place in the game.
Yeah, and they also had a DLC that came out around the marketing behind this was fucking genius.
Well, it wasn't the deal. Yeah, it was basically just a patch, and they added some new rooms.
Yeah, it was a patch. Well, no, they added a bunch of weapons that were kind of shown in the show. They added outfits, like you can get his jacket, you can get like a few other things. They added I think they added a drink to Afterlife, which is based on him. It's named after him.
Yeah,
and has like a little short thing about him.
He died, and that's how he remembered.
Yeah. And there is a bunch of other there's a bunch of other little things that you can go to Rebecca's apartment, and there's a bunch of other like.
I see him walking down the street, and I'm seeing him crossing an intersection crosswalk, and I've walked down that crosswalk. Hey, I drove down that road. Hey, I know where that wasteland place is.
Getting back to what I was about to say about marketing, there's a reason why. I think that there was a lot of things that coincided which allowed them to get the massive boost in player count that they're getting, which is namely one, the tie-in patch / DLC to tie it to Edge Runners, and then the second part of that is the fact that they put the game at 50% off.
Oh, I didn't know.
When the show came out. Yeah, so, I mean, that sale's over now, but they had the game out for like 50% off when the show came out. And that was just fucking... that's like marketing fucking genius. Like, there's a reason why the game is like surging in popularity right now.
I do think the most brilliant move of the whole of this media mix, because it's media mix.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Is good old Joe. Yeah, good old Joe. Media mix. Yeah.
Is that every location in the anime you can find in the game, and that is you can go on what.
Yeah, they to the point that I would argue that they probably like went into the game and just traced.
I'm basically confident that they free camped anywhere in the game and just picked out scenes and redraw over it every background they wanted. Yeah, traced every background. But the power of media mix, and you can go on a pilgrimage of sorts. There is the concept of the otaku pilgrimage, where you have your favorite series and you go to all the places that was shown in the anime.
Yeah.
And you can do this in the game. You can go to the apartments. You can go to the intersections where the car chase happened. You can do the otaku pilgrimage. You can relive your experiences of the show by walking around in the game.
In the game, and again, that's why, and I think once people figure that out, that's why, like, alongside the fact that they put it on sale, it's like, fucking genius. Absolutely fucking marketing genius.
I mean, actual towns in Japan advertise them being in an anime to some part, at some point, and to invite people to come to their small ass town, because that's where non-biri yoru, I don't know,
or whatever
small anime in a small town is said, they're going to advertise it for some tourism. Well, advertise the game for some extra sales, for some tourism in the same sense.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
To understand what was happening in this anime, the world building.
Oh yeah, I will also agree with this, but you don't have to play the game because this is completely detached from the game.
Oh yeah, you just like you can visit a Japanese town on its own right.
You don't have to you don't have to play the game to understand the anime, and you don't have to watch the anime to understand.
I do think there is some things you'll pick up on a little bit faster because they had the intro, the first scene.
Oh, but yeah, but that's like hell. If you played the tabletop, right? Like you can kind
of course too.
I don't think it necessarily with everything. If you have familiar prior knowledge of the setting, you're going to pick up on things, right? Like I don't think that's like
kind of
exclusive.
Those drones and how brain dances work and more stuff like that.
What the language and the
terms,
that kind of shit. Yeah.
Is efficient, effective, and impressively thorough, telling you everything you need to know, mostly through action over exposition, in a way that feels entirely natural for all of the characters. If this is the only piece of Cyberpunk 20XX media you've ever consumed, it is a fantastic introduction to the setting, every bit as accessible as Imaishi's own original stories. And honestly, I'm kind of stoked to have watched it before playing the game, because now, when I come back to rewatch it with all that knowledge in 90 hours or so, I'll be able to enjoy what has quickly become one of my all-time favorite anime, fresh from a new perspective. Also because the game's been patched enough to actually be playable now. That's nice too. The perspective.
Like I said, I like the game much, actually.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Is like, so there's a bit of debate, Twitter drama, if you will, around the fact that the game is doing well, because you have a group of people that, the one that went semi-viral was someone bitching about how, CD Projekt Red, they released the bad product at launch, it was buggy, and they crunched the dev team, and that's morally bad, and you shouldn't support them, and and they did that one thing with the dick girl on an advertisement, and that's bad, and people are just forgetting all of these bad things. It's almost like, have you seen that meme of like the guys sitting on the couch and they're playing like a video game, and there's like a guy with a fedora? Yeah, stop having fun. It feels like that.
He didn't have a fedora. He's just a stick man.
Well, he had a hat on. Or something.
He didn't. He was bald.
But like, no. I don't fucking know. But like, that's what it feels like to me, in a sense, because I don't like. I understand, right? I get like, oh yeah, you shouldn't like forget the fact that they did crunch, because like, yeah, crunch is bad or whatever. But like, at some point, it's just kind of like, I mean, because the issue was people were acting as if they didn't face consequences for the fact the game launched shitty. They got fucking sued over it. They got sued over it. It got removed from the PlayStation Store because it was that bad, right? Yeah. It was unplayable on PlayStation, so they actually had it removed by Sony, right? To say, they didn't. They had to issue like refunds for that, right? Like straight up.
I mean, like, refunds it was a to fucking Sony. I would believe. Like
I'm not entirely sure what this is. What the
I'm just
I'd have to remember. I'd have to remember. But like, my point is like the idea that they didn't suffer any consequences for how that game came out is absolutely ludicrous. Now, the other flip side of that is you have the people like like fucking, I don't know, gaslighting and trying to be like, oh no, there was never a problem. It was fine. Everyone was just bullshit. It's like, no. Like the game, like I know that you mentioned that, yeah, you liked the game at launch. You didn't like have any like particular.
No, I didn't have like game breaking things. Or I have.
But even you can admit that like, there were some problems.
Well,
at least in the general sense,
I have seen enough footage that there were problems, but the most glitchy thing that I noticed in my time playing was there was at one point an explosion just out of nowhere somewhere around me. I assume somewhere a car spawned in and it immediately clipped with the terrain and then it exploded. But when I was playing it, it almost felt somewhat immersive that, you know, somewhere in the city an explosion was and you don't know.
You probably just thought it was part of the scenery. Yeah. So anyway, like, but that's the thing, right? So you've got these like two sides where the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? It's like, yeah, the game launched in a bad state. a lot of games launch in a bad state and get patched over time to be better. And from what I understand now, the game is in a lot, like they've added a bunch of content, they fixed a lot of the issues people were having. They've done a lot of optimization on it. It's a case where it's like, at some point you just have to kind of be like, yeah, it came out rough, but now it's probably a decent game. It's probably worth picking up.
I'm just a really bad example because I didn't have bugs or problems. So
you didn't have any issues.
I can't really comment on it.
I just know that they're like objectively, you can't like be like, oh well, there was nothing wrong. Like even if because you're like the guy that's like, when you have like a tech issue and you go hunting for like a way to solve the problem, and like you always have that one guy who's like, oh well, it works for me.
It works for me.
With no anything else. It's just that. And how useless that comment is. It's like, that's what that feels like to me. It's like, oh, well,
it's true.
It wasn't glitchy for me.
What are you saying?
It's true. It might be true. It might be true, but it's like, it's not particularly useful when like I've seen like the famous footage of like the palm tree. It's like just fucking glitching through the world and shit. Like you when you're faced with something like that and it's like, oh, well, it worked for me. I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, it doesn't really help. But getting back to it though, like so yeah, there's a bit of like debate, I guess, and drama around like, oh, should CDPR be like forgiven, whatever. And I mean it's been 2 years, right? Like I think the game came out like 2 years ago ish. I feel like they kind of are at the point now where it's like, maybe not necessarily forget the fact that, because I mean people remember the fact that Fallout New Vegas was fucking absolutely fucking like you couldn't even like get through the character creation without Doc Mitchell's head spinning.
I remember something like that.
Yeah, like I mean like games have like bad games on launch. But if they put in the effort and the work over the last 2 years to actually fix the game and make it playable for people, I'm not gonna fault them, right?
So
it's kind of where I'm getting.
I've heard this more recently in my circles, but the idea that a boycott will solve things. Yeah, it kind of lost my appeal to me. I'm just going to boycott, and that will teach them. That's real activism, bro.
I just
the real activism
stupid.
You can do is, I guess, pirate the game.
There you go.
Pirate the game. Promote the brokenness and get those court documents, put on freedom of information requests on a private company. I don't know how you do that, but whatever.
I don't know
leaks,
either, but I get
leaks, get
saying,
articles, get interviews, and pirate the game as hard as you can. That's the activism I guess you can do, but boycotting is not the activism that it is.
I don't necessarily think there was a call to boycott. It was more just it's a bunch of people just being like, stop having fun, And it's like, what are you gonna?
Yeah.
At that point, it's just kind of like petty almost.
Yeah, I set my
whatever.
my ideal goals for activism, peace. I guess, against the game.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, let's continue.
Through which we're introduced to Night City belongs to one David Martinez, a kid from the wrong side of the tracks whose mom busts her ass.
Oh god, he's about to explain the whole shit. Okay, here we go.
On the books as a medic for a bougie private hospital and off as a black market cyberware dealer.
That's how she gets. She steals the cybernetics.
He says that she's a member for a bourgeois hospital, but she's in a meat wagon.
Yeah, she's not fucking, what is it, Max Tack is the fucking like anti-cyber psycho one. What's it called, like something?
Trauma Team.
It's like Trauma Team, yeah, that's it. She's not Trauma Team, so I don't know what he's talking about there, but okay.
Send him to Arasaka
I do
Academy,
want to mention that, maybe he'll mention it, but every day when he goes to school or walks out of his apartment, he's standing on the ledge. And then
he jumps off the ledge and jumps on the trash. Yeah.
Well, I don't think the trash is that relevant.
Themes!
Yeah, but the ledge, cyberpsychosis, going over the edge, etc.
To the ledge, I get you.
Raising the next generation of the city's corporate elite. But no matter how hard she or he works, David will never belong there. His classmates all look down on him, even though he has some of the best grades in the whole school, because to them, that's just further proof that he doesn't know his place. As for the question of how his mom affords to send him there, well, you can guess how a bunch of
pause
rich
again real quick, because I'm not really listening to him, more of, picking up things. I do like how it was kind of subtle. It was mentioned that he has good grades.
Yeah.
It's only mentioned like twice. I believe in the when the mother has to come in because he fucked up the school systems. It was despite your exemplary academic performances, and another one was he was there because his grades were good, even though he's poor. And that's the only two times it's mentioned that he's actually very smart.
Decide to answer that. An insult that becomes infinitely more intolerable after David and his mom get caught up in a cyberpunk drive-by turned 50-car pileup that sends her flying to the pavement, where she's forced to wait, bleeding out, for the discount ambulance because they can't afford the rapid response trauma team, or a visitation package at the shithole medical center that ambulance brings them to, for that matter, which does still manage to stabilize her vitals. But then she has a complication the next day, and they figure she's probably not good for the extra time on life support anyhow. But hey, at least he can afford their instant cremation package. Initially, David's plan was to pay off her hospital bills, plus rent and the massive debt that he owes the school for crashing their computers with a bootleg cyberware update, by selling a Sandevistan that he found under the floorboards.
Yeah, Sandy. Yeah, so it's nicknamed as Sandy.
Did you watch the English version?
I watched Japanese.
Right.
I watched it in Japanese, and even in Japanese, they call it a Sandy.
Yeah, every now and again, it's interchangeable. It's a nickname after all.
Yeah.
A rare military-grade spinal implant that exponentially accelerates its users' movement and reactions, which he recognizes from a VR recording of the last memories of an 8-ton human tank who used one of those things.
Yeah, he's just fucking like doing his thing. It's like, explain to me, Daddy, Mother's Basement, the entire show.
Where he recognized the implant from is completely irrelevant to his character and his character arc.
It's irrelevant to the character. It's relevant in the sense that everything is connected, because it's fat because he's watching the guy that his mom picks up the thing from, right? Like.
I'm not even sure that he knows that it's the same implant.
I don't know. I don't know if he knows, but the viewer does.
The viewer does.
Like it is like, but it's presented as like just like everything is kind of connected together, right? Like, this all these kind of things kind of come together to kind of formulate the startup, right? But anyways,
to turn an entire plaza full of corpo cops into a fine red paste. A thing that he chose to do because the mental strain of using one of those things sends most people straight into cyberpsychosis. And obviously, most people also don't want to be that guy, so David finds it quite hard to find a buyer who will give him anywhere near what the hardware is actually worth. But when his mom dies right after his local
summary
goes full JoJo on his ass.
God damn, this is getting really boring.
I'm just trying to get through it. Yeah.
Because I actually had kind of fun.
He suddenly has a lot
in
less
the earlier
to lose,
parts.
and a lot of good reasons to use a spine-mounted Zawarudo, or at least Reasons that seemed pretty good at the time. After he makes a crater in the class window with that dude's head and runs off to cool his own head on the train, he starts to reconsider some of these decisions. But just then, the best bad decision he'll ever make tries to steal his cyber wallet, and, impressed by his reaction to that, decides...
Okay, I like how he completely missed the fact that Lucy is referenced in like really early
Episode
on as well.
one
Like
with the hair
kinda,
drop thing.
Yeah, with the hair. Like he recognizes her, like just tangentially, like as a quaint. Oh, he saw this chick in the street once. You know, like again, it just ties back into how everything is connected.
Yeah,
right?
Brian mentioned that he saw.
That's what I feel the point is should be here. Like, if I was going to make a point about something, it would be that, oh, look at all these different things and how they interweave together and how they made the narrative that way, right? But he's not doing that. He's just summarizing the whole fucking show.
Also,
which is what he does because he's lazy.
I actually believe that in this moment when Lucy is totally hacking David for every little bit of private information that he has on him, that she sees that he has a Zenvista, and then immediately plans to get it out of him and to get it to Maine. It's basically at this moment.
She recognizes that it, you know, that goes into when they meet. I wonder if Lana's Base is probably going to talk about it, but it's like, no, look, Again, everything is connected.
Yeah.
Decides to take him under her wing as an apprentice cyberpunk. Her name is Lucy, and her charming personality, plus even more charming Motoko Kusanagi cut outfit, quickly help him forget his troubles. Those troubles haven't forgotten him,
I do want to say again that I believe that in the train scene, Lucy is planning on getting that implant out, basically.
No. We'll see.
Well, that's a kind of it's vague and left in the middle, but that's my interpretation.
Not for the reasons you might think. See, when David remodeled his classroom using the face of an Arasaka executive's son, he inadvertently demonstrated value to the company for the first time in his entire academic career. His tolerance for cybernetic implants is beyond exceptional. It's borderline inhuman, making him an ideal candidate to field test some experimental hardware that makes the Sandevistan look like a cheap party trick, and its psychological effects look like mild sleep deprivation. So Tanaka Jr. can suck it up, the blood from his shattered nose, that is, and David gets a full-ride scholarship, because there ain't no love in the mega-corporate world, no matter how high up the ladder you are. Though, zooming out to look at the big picture, that scholarship is ultimately...
And I liked how he just kind of tells him to fuck off every single time.
I actually wasn't it's expected, and that's kind of my thing about it is,
well, yeah.
I kind of liked it more when he was just ignoring the calls.
yeah. When he's just like, no, fuck off.
Yeah, just ignore, wave it away. I would find it more funny if he just placed him on a block list or something instead of, actively telling them off. Yeah. Because that is already a proactive decision, kind of, to put it on a block list.
To life as a lab rat with accelerated cyberpsychosis, so on David's part, rejecting that path to follow one that literally everyone in the whole show warns him will lead to gradual cyberpsychosis and/or an early loud death, even with his tolerance, was about the best call he possibly could have made. Actually. Certainly it's the best one for us in the audience, since the path of the Edgerunner takes David through some of the craziest action scenes ever animated. From racing down the highway ass first on a hospital gurney to...
Yeah, that shit was dope.
Hey, this is the trailer.
Yeah, also, he's just summarizing. Let's just get through it.
Gosh, where to even start? Every last fight, chase, and set piece in this anime is utterly insane and inspired in the best possible way. Of course, Dave Sandevistan takes center stage in most of them, and the way his time-bending powers are portrayed, both from his perspective, where he leaves a trail of psychedelic keyframes behind him as he moves, and that of outside observers who only really see him zipping around, is utterly brilliant.
I thought the coolest one was in episode 7. You know, when you see him do the slow-mo in his perspective, and then you get the recap in real time with the guy with the big hammer.
Yeah.
That was a cool one.
Yeah. It's pretty cool how they... the general, like, stylistic choices of things, I really think they've nailed a lot of that. I think one of my personal favorites is when someone has cyberpsychosis and their eyes...
I think that's
the indication of cyberpsychosis is that your eyes start fucking no-clipping everywhere and fucking just jittering around.
I think it's a very good indication of losing grip of reality.
Yeah, exactly. It's I really, even for characters that don't actually have like physical looking eyes, right? Like visible eyes. That like even the first guy, right? Like his little like free prong glasses type things are like jittering around, you know. And I really liked that as a stylistic choice. So it's a similar kind of thing with the Sandy, right? Where it's like they made some really good choices.
Watch in motion. But the crew Lucy pulls him into is full of almost equally impressive and creatively realized half-human killing machines. She doesn't do much fighting herself. As a netrunner, her job is mostly to support the combat unit by hacking through security systems and whatnot, but she can hold her own in a pinch with her wireless digital hacking abilities. Not to mention her wired analog hacking abilities. At the time David joins
that
up,
was a funny joke,
still
actually.
mostly serving as a backup for the squad's main netrunner, a skilled veteran named Kiwi, even though her natural aptitude for hacking might even exceed David's own affinity for cyberware. The crew is led on and off the battlefield by Maine, a heapin' hulkin' bear of a man who bears a notable resemblance to Final Fantasy's Barret, except his gun arm still works as an actual arm and packs a much bigger punch, speaking euphemistically and literally. The man is a walking wall of death, laying waste to all unlucky enough to cross his path. He also, coincidentally, happened to be a very good friend of Gloria Martinez, thus takes a very quick shot.
Well, from what I understand, based on how that episode went down, Gloria was going, like, I guess, like, it would be the same kind of relationship of like a drug dealer to go back to the whole to go back to the drug metaphor, because again, the Sandy was supposed to be for him, right? He was buying the Sandy off Martinez to, you know, have it for himself, but David kind of fucked that up in a sense because he put it inside himself instead of, you know, whatever. But like, I feel like, I don't know. I think that maybe they were probably friends in a certain regard, and again, and even you know, he even says himself, "Oh, I probably owe it to her to take you in," or what. Like he's like they're hesitant about it, but he does kind of fall back to, "Oh well, you know, she was good to us. We might as well, you know, if she's dead, we'll be good to her or whatever." So
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if like that we never got to see that relationship, you know. So it's kind of like either way, it's speculation, Mother's Basement's interpretation or our interpretation. So there's not really a whole lot to say about it, at least from my opinion. So yeah, let's just keep going. We're getting there. We've still got a little bit to go.
Son. So, scary as he is, from David's perspective, he's practically a father. And in between all the brutality, he even gives the boy some fatherly advice about girls and junk. Maine's right hand and Maine's squeeze is Dorio, a wall of a woman in her own right and damn near as deadly, who uses her cybernetic enhancements to augment her natural talents as a boxer. She may not have any guns hidden in her guns, but she sure can
weird
air juggle dudes
speculation
and punch their
about her being a natural boxer.
Well, that's definitely her fighting style, I guess. But it's like,
yeah. I mean, she's
again. She's
apparently friends with a boxer. But I don't. We know in this episode too.
It's pretty much the same difference. In contrast, Falco, the squad's driver, is quite the cool customer, and while he too can hold his own in a fight, not to mention an exchange of witty banter, where he really shines is, of course, on the road, in the show's smattering of high-octane car chases. Rounding out the crew is Pilar, a handsy weirdo with weirdo hands who uses them to do party tricks about as often as kill folks. Dude's a fucking animal in the best and worst sense of the word, and that goes double for his sister.
Here we
Rebecca,
go.
a hard-drinking short stack with a heart of gold and...
No, you don't.
Let him use the advertiser friendly.
No. You don't get to weasel. I'm fucking getting tired of this shit. She doesn't have big tits. She's not a fucking short stack. That's not what a short stack is.
Right.
You motherfucker. That's my problem, is people keep trying to call her a short stack, and it's like, no, she's not a fucking short stack. You don't know what a short stack actually fucking is. What are you talking about? Like, I don't even, like, before the whole memes, right, I wouldn't even, like, necessarily even call her a lolly, right? But, like, fucking, holy shit. Like, if the chick, like, again, going back to that interview we were talking about, if the chick herself, who was in the design team, referenced her as being a lolly, I don't know, like, what else do you need, right? Like, what else do you need from that,
I agree, it's coping in a sense.
It's coping. It is flat out coping, right? I'm sorry. I can't... It's really annoying because it's trying to, like, redefine what things mean, and I hate it when people fucking do that kind of shit. It's like, no, you don't get to fucking redefine what a short stack means just so that you don't feel bad about fapping to the short character, right? I'm sorry, okay? Just fucking deal with the fact you like a character that's as tall as a child, all right? I'm sorry, you're gonna have to deal with it. All right, just gonna have to deal with it.
I don't have much opinions on it, but yeah, I wouldn't classify Rebecca as a lolly per se. Also,
yeah, she's just a short woman. She's just short,
and then plenty of goddamn short women who are barely a centimeter taller than 150, and.
I mean, the only reason I would refer to her as a lolly is because it triggers people. I'll be real. Because it's triggering these people. And it's like, she's definitely not a fucking short stack. Because short stacks are usually categorized as being short, but they have fucking massive tits and ass. Like,
True,
if you've ever seen, like, like that's what a that's why it's called a stack, right? That's where the stack part comes from, is that they're stacked. Even though they're short. So again, it's weird games bullshit. But anyway, I want to hear what else he has to say about it.
Eventually, massive robot boxing mitts who's just the absolute fucking best in every possible way, honestly. You can tell these two were some of Imaishi's favorites on account of how good they are at his favorite gesture. Not to mention making murder look good, which is also something the whole cast is good at, but especially Rebecca. It is just so fun watching her tear shit up. The contrast of cuteness to carnage is simply perfect. But there's a lot more to her character
kind of a
than
trope,
just
right?
bratty badassery. Becca is also just a great friend to the whole crew, but to David especially. Probably his best one in the world by the time it's over. She clearly wants their relationship to be more than that, but doesn't let those feelings or his feelings for Lucy get in the way of them hanging out and having fun or being there for each other when they're at their darkest moments. Rebecca buries it deep under a mountain of attitude because that's what it takes to survive there, but she has got to be one of the best people in all of Night City, on top of being best girl. Lucy's a serious...
Yeah, so, because Mother's Basement's been a boring piece of shit, I thought I'd bring up an interesting possible lore factoid about Lucy. So her tattoos, right?
Under her eyes?
No, not just her eyes. All of her tattoos.
Oh yeah, her back.
So the ones specifically the ones on her neck, are. It's not like confirmed, but it's hypothesized that she's a former member of a group called Mox or Moxie, and from what I understand from the lore, so this might be a bit of a tangent, right? But so there was this like brothel.
It's in the game.
Like it was Moxie. No, yeah, Moxie's brothel, right? And the lore behind that is and how the gang sort of started up was you would have these prostitutes and they would be getting, abused by the gangs, right? Because obviously being a prostitute in this world is probably pretty fucked, right? Let's be real. So this character called this chick called Moxie, right, is like, all right, fucking enough of this shit. If you harm my girls, we're gonna fuck you up. And so she essentially starts this entire movement because she ends up getting killed by the gangs in retaliation, right? And it starts this like movement among like the prostitutes of Night City to form this kind of gang for protection. And the gang is like called Moxie or whatever. And so it's heavily like hypothesized by people that Rebecca is a former like Moxie.
Oh, you said Lucy.
member.
I was kind of confused.
Oh, did I say Lucy? Oh, sorry. He just said Lucy, so that probably is what confused the shit out of me. Rebecca. Sorry. That would be my bad. Rebecca is possibly a former member of Moxie, and I don't know. I find that very interesting. I think that would be a really interesting like factoid to the character if that was true. It's just it's hypothesized. It's not like confirmed or anything.
It would be
like,
cool.
Be kind of cool. Yeah. It's just a cute, cool little lore factoid for people to look into, So yeah, let's continue.
Yeah, that's why I said eyes, because I was kind of
for that crown too. Even if
yeah, I get you now. Yeah, I must. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm tired. We've been here for like 1.5 hours, or almost 2 hours. So it's like goddamn.
Mysterious and sexy ain't your thing. It's easy to see what David sees in her, at least, and their chemistry is undeniable from the first moment they speak. Their relationship hits its share of roadblocks along the way, of course. Wouldn't be interesting otherwise, but one look at these two crazy kids is all you need to know that they were meant to be. Because in spite of all the shit that they've both gone through all their lives, they've still somehow managed to keep at least a piece of their young hearts pure. In Lucy's case, that piece is
humanity.
Her dream. To escape the bonds of this broken world, bask in an unfiltered sun, and build a new life for herself on the moon. A dream that she shares with David and David alone via VR in one of the show's most beautiful scenes. For David, that piece holds his capacity to care for and believe in others even when everyone else has given up on them, including themselves. He's not a dreamer himself. His life so far has thoroughly discouraged.
And again, referencing the cyberpsychosis thing, like that idea of like humanity allowing you to push yourself further, right? Being able to hold on to your humanity.
I have heard
is a key aspect.
I have heard something interesting.
So I wouldn't. So I wouldn't like, because my basement classifies it as like, childhood innocence in a sense, almost, is kind of what he said. It's not exactly what he said, but that's kind of what he's saying, right? Is like, I would classify it as humanity. I wouldn't say it's like a childhood or
I guess it would be in this world,
thing.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say it's more just directly holding on to like some semblance of your humanity in spite of this inhuman world that you find yourself surrounded by, right?
Yeah.
Is what I
want to mention is that I've heard other people mention this, that it's kind of interesting that David never has a dream of his own.
Yeah, he kind of, and that's even like a conflict between him and Lucy later on in the show, where they have that argument where it's like, you're just following
other people's dream,
someone else's dream.
She says it in episode 2, where Mother wants him to go to Arasaka, and she said, but that's her dream. You're a different person.
Yeah, you should be doing what you want to do.
But then he never does.
He never does, yeah. I mean, I guess that's all just part of the tragedy, almost, isn't it? Like he doesn't find the like his own thing, whereas other people do have their own dreams.
I mean, you could call that a part of humanity, of doing something for somebody else, and for no benefit of your own.
I say a sort of selflessness, almost. Yeah.
Imagining a better future. But for precisely that reason, he's the type to put it all on the line for the dreams of those he loves. And while the beautiful spark between them is but a prelude to the inevitable blaze, which proves to be one of the most glorious things Trigger's ever animated, it still shines bright amid city's darkness while it does last. Every fleeting moment of love we see in the series, be it familial, romantic, or platonic, shines in that same way until it's snuffed out, which they all are eventually, because as far as the city's owners are concerned, anything you can't fit on a balance sheet is irrelevant and expendable. Ironically, that very attitude might well be the root of one of the city's greatest operating expenses. NCPD Max Tax squads are SWAT teams on steroids, and the city pays out the wazoo
is this relevant to the
arm them
story?
With the latest and greatest military toys.
Okay. Yeah, that, and he doesn't know shit about Cyberpunk, because what Max Tech actually is they're actually like controlled cyber psychos. This is talked about apparently in the lore, where like the only people that are powerful enough to like actually fight cyber psychos are other cyber psychos. Yeah. So what Max Tech actually is, from, because Lolly's talked to me about this, right? And what he's explained it to me is that Max Tech is like these people that are like on the very like edge of cyber psychosis, or are cyber psycho, but they're just sane enough to be able to be like controlled and given orders and follow them. And so Max Tech is like the only thing that can like actually counter a cyber psycho. And they're usually and they're usually only called out to deal with cyber psychos. They're not like a general
because
SWAT.
If you put them out in the public too much, they'll just snap also, I guess.
Maybe, yeah. Like, I guess that could be part of it. But it's like they are... Yeah, so unless he talks about that now in the next like 10 seconds and I've jumped the gun, if he's presenting them as just like fucking juiced SWAT,
but
that's actually not correct.
My thing is that it's all fine to explain what Max Tech is,
how is this relevant to how does this make Cyberpunk punk anime again?
There's like a bunch of things. He didn't explain how fixers work, and I think that's kind of more relevant to the whole theme of the story. I mean, we mentioned it.
This is weird.
Fixers.
I think he's doing the thing where he just kind of goes off on shit that he liked. That's like not even relevant. So let's just keep going. Because
only force in the city, aside from Arasaka Private Security, that can reliably take down cyber psychos. That is...
Oh yeah, I find it interesting how getting back to everything being tied together, when he's having that like sort of vision that the snuff film guy gives him, right? He's shown as like, oh, he's growing all of these guns out of his limbs. And then when he gets the cyber skeleton, as we're seeing here, one of the abilities of the cyber skeleton is it like magnetically like attracts all of these guns that connect to the limbs.
Yeah, he becomes kind of the cyber psychosis that he imagined. So
yeah, it's kind of it's like poetry, Elliot. It rhymes. It's like poetry. I found that to be to be
I didn't
quite
really
interesting.
pick up on that, but I think
there's a lot of really like little things like that like when you like think back on it, you kind of go, huh.
I had it more of when did Lucy know that it was Maine's Sandy, and I think it was probably just right in the train when she did a scan.
Maybe.
But yeah, I thought that visualizing cyberpsychosis for at least for David as seeing guns everywhere, as inhumane violence pouring out, was pretty neat.
Yeah. Yes. Again, the visuals in the show are on point.
Cyborgs whose sense of empathy, grip on reality, or both has been completely irreversibly fried by their implants, which they usually have a lot of very dangerous ones of by the time they reach that point, making them a grave threat to life and, far more importantly, property. Well, they say it's irreversible, that there's no coming back once you're over that edge, but over the course of this anime, we spend a fair amount of time inside the head of more than one cyber psycho, and on more than one occasion, we do see them return to themselves, albeit briefly and far too late.
Can you comment on that as somebody who talked about to the expert, Lolly?
I think if you I have to remember, but like there is a point of no return.
That's what I assume.
So there is a point where you're too far gone. You've basically fried your brain. However, the issue is like at this point with like Maine here, he's not quite at that point yet. If he like, as I think mentioned, if he like drew back on his cybernetics a little bit, he might have been able to, save himself, right? If he got rid of some of the stuff, right? And it's the same with David, right? Where it's like if he stopped pushing himself so much, and like, okay, maybe he got like a few extra things, maybe if he didn't like get the same arms that
Maine had,
our boy here, Maine had, maybe if he got different arms and focused more on like the speed aspect or whatever, like if he changed his build a little bit and got like less demanding implants, right? I feel like he probably would have been fine, right?
But I mean more of
so it's like you have like there's definitely like a point of no return, but there's also like if you catch it early enough, you can kind of mitigate it. Is what I've kind of gathered from like what I've read about it, and again from reading like the Mike Pondsmith quote.
Yeah, but I was more interested in when Wayne is standing on the runway of the airfield runway.
I think that's like the metaphor of like he's at the point where he's like at the edge. He's at the end of the runway, and he has to like decide if he's going to jump off the runway or, like pull back. And I get the feeling that's what that symbolism is trying to like convey. It's trying to convey he's walked this runway for probably his whole life, because you remember it like shows him like as a child at the start that he's walking down this like long runway, and then he kind of gets to the end of the runway. And it's like, he's at that like tipping point where he needs to kind of decide, and he made his decision essentially. And he didn't really, let's be real, he didn't really have the time to make that decision, and considering the situation that they were in, right? Like he kind of was forced into the decision that he made. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think he was necessarily at the point of no return at this point.
Yeah,
I
had the feeling that he even when he was seeing everything as the wasteland, as the desert, that he could have been brought back. But I kind of also believe that every little thing would have been the trigger to make him completely insane. Yeah, but I'm not.
He just was.
But I'm not familiar with cyberpsychosis enough in the lore to know actually.
Yeah, and I'm not claiming to be an expert either. I'm just like I've read the creator's own words about it. I've talked with someone who's actually familiar with the tabletop and how the mechanics work, and like what I'm going off memory here. I'm not like fucking.
I guess
I'm not like a super expert on it, but I'm just like, this is what I remember from what I've been like, the information that I recall. Right?
Well, I'm reconsidering. I think Maine was too far gone, and David was very lucid at the end, so maybe he would have been able to.
Maybe, and of course Lucy does kind of snap him out of it right before the end as well. So, but again, you have to remember, this isn't like a biological thing.
No, it's mental.
This is a psychological problem. Yeah, it's a psychological and a humanity-based thing, not a like. It's not like a chemical dependency kind of thing, even though it is like the effects of it are semi-related to drug, like in terms of what they based it on, right? But it is a psychological issue, right?
So I would say that
like the fact,
David was brought back.
Maybe he was.
David was brought back by Lucy appealing to his humanity, and Maine. I guess he wasn't. There was no appeal to his humanity.
Maybe not. Maybe not. It is very interesting though. I really like the concept. I really like the idea of you sacrificing your humanity for power and then the consequences that come from that. I think that's like, as a thematic I guess narrative tool. I actually really like it.
What you just said, it's not really that people willingly sacrifice their humanity. They're kind of forced to.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of the time it's because they have to. I mean, David, for instance, like he did it because he kind of, like he didn't really have a lot of like he got to make money somehow.
He has to live, and to live, you have to give up humanity, and
he tried to sell it. He tried to sell it, and he couldn't sell it. So, what are you gonna do? So anyway,
Pair 4 was able to reach out to them in their darkest moment. And in the moments before that, as we see them losing themselves to glitchy, surreal animation effects and directing tricks that challenge our own grip on what's actually happening, the scenes and sights they lose themselves in are quite telling. Vivid memories of past trauma intrude on their waking world. Familiar faces are papered over by manifestations of their deepest fears. In a bid to hold on, they desperately cling to past memories of joy or triumph, now long gone. But those ultimately only pull them further away from the present. What this implies to me is that the compounding trauma of simply living in a society that doesn't value human life, of searching for compassion in a city almost void of it, that is the real fuel that cyberpsychosis burns on. The implants are just an accelerant, amplifying mental health issues that were already there. Issues that likely could be addressed.
He's stretching.
Yeah, no, it's again he's missing the I would not expect him to have the context of what I have, right, with Mike Pondsmith, actually just directly saying, no, it's a humanity thing. it's based on how human you are, how much you can empathize with people.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, oh, you've got cyber schizo.
You got cyber depression.
You have cyber depression. That's the title of the video, by the way. Cyber
You're
depression.
You're getting too real. Watching this video gives me cyber depression.
Cyber depression. Cyber autism. God!
In more effective, far less costly ways than a massive shootout, but won't be ever, because that would require people with decision-making power to recognize that a system which has always worked for them doesn't work for anyone else. So everyone else can either try to live within that system until it quietly crushes them, or fight it with everything they have until it takes everything from them.
Yeah, but they're not
fighting it.
They're not really fighting it, though. That's the problem. They are literally existing. Right?
They are living in the society and actively partaking in it.
They're not starting the revolution here, right? Like they're just participating in like they're literally living in the society, right? It is a society, right? I'm sorry.
They're quite productive members of the society, partaking in the economic activities and partaking in commerce, supporting local business.
Like my issue here is it's like the most surface level fucking analysis.
Let's not
right?
put ourselves on the pedestal too much. I don't think we are giving here.
I don't even think ours like that just goes to show how fucking like surface level Mother's Basement's take is, because it's like our like. It's very clear that they're not fighting the system. So I don't know where he's getting that from. Like they are literal, like the whole thing is they are just surviving. They're doing a job to make money. Like that, they are participating in the system. They're not they're not like we're going to like deliberately rebel against the companies and fucking
I guess in this
them.
sense,
like they're hired. They're hired.
I guess in this sense, Cyberpunk isn't really about fighting the system, but more Cyberpunk as a setting is more to show what it's like if you weren't rebelling.
Yeah,
but this is a big talk about a thing that I barely know.
Whatever. But we got a minute left. We're almost
things just a little better somewhere, somehow, for someone in the process. That is the defining dynamic of Cyberpunk, the very thing that makes it punk. Defiance, even in the face of
we just disagree with you.
Anyone familiar with Trigger's filmography would have told you that they'd knock the defiant part of that out of the park. But by leaning into that futility and away from Imaishi's trademark optimism, by warning us up front that this one's gonna hurt and then twisting the knife at every opportunity, they have made not just their best anime yet, but one of the finest pieces of cyberpunk fiction in existence, period.
I don't believe there's much cyberpunk fiction, so it's pretty easy to be the best.
Blaze of glory.
Oh look, edited by someone else. Look at that. Okay, so yeah, I just disagree. I guess is my I don't disagree with that it's good, and I don't disagree with that it's good cyberpunk. I just disagree with his I disagree with his interpretation of like rebellion and defiance and all of that shit. Like, because I don't get that at all. I don't get that as the message of the show at all.
No, it's
like it's if anything, it's about survival. Like, if anything, it's about like, look, this is what it takes to survive in this world, and this is the lengths that it will push people to, and the kind, like, you know, all of the characters are acting in sort of like pseudo their own self-interests. I mean, you have like Kiwi obviously later on, since we're talking spoilers, like she betrays the team and sides with Arasaka, Free-Eyed Man, to you know, get whatever. Like, she's doing that of her own, like, you know,
self-interest,
volition and self-interest, you know, like, so it's kind of like, and like her whole thing is, you don't trust anyone, you know, because they're all gonna, everyone can and will stab you in the back or whatever. And then that the poetic part of that is even she gets stabbed in the back by Arasaka Man.
And then she stabs Arasaka.
That's what leads to Arasaka Man. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, that's the point. That is the point of the show. It's not rah, we're gonna bring down the big bad,
big tower,
but they end up losing. It's like, no. Like, I can't believe, like, I hate how, like, media illiterate he is. Like, because I find it hard to, like, actually comprehend his, like, how he got to the logic behind how he got to his conclusion, because I just cannot comprehend, like, how did you draw rebellion and defiance out of this thing that clearly is, like, to anyone with, like, a brain can determine that's not actually what the show's about. And it's not even the first time that he's done this either. Like, I remember, like, Shield Hero, he had issues with this. Goblin Slayer, he had issues with this, where it's like he has these, like, really weird sort of, like, interpretations that directly run counter to what the actual narrative of the thing he's talking about is saying.
It's a problem of being very uncritical of the message the show presents as good. In general. So, for example, let me give an example of a thing. Well, let's slime, because I always talk about slime. Yes, you lose slime.
You always talk about slime, yeah. It wouldn't be a pause on point episode if you didn't talk about slime.
Let me talk about slime.
Anyway, go ahead.
Slime is very uncritical of the actions Rimuru takes, right? Rimuru actions are good because there's a happy sunshine every time he does something. And I think that Mother's Basement's problem is that he would take Rimuru's actions as good because the show tells him it's good. He sees these characters resisting and rebelling and fighting in the tower and at the tower and fighting Adam Smasher, a agent of Arasaka, of the man, and thinks then that means that they're fighting the system, but they're not.
But when you look at the context of why all of those events are happening, it has nothing to do with it. You know, like if you like, it's like he's taking things out of context almost.
I would say he's uncritical of how a message is presented instead of, he might be critical of the message that he sees, but I don't think he's critical of the framing of the message. This isn't really how this wouldn't really fit for this show because he's missing the point entirely, I guess. But I just have
no, I get what you're trying to say though. I get what you're trying to say. I don't disagree. I think that there's definitely maybe some level of that. But overall though, I guess since like our opinions on the video are kind of irrelevant because it's Mother's Basement and he just spent like half the fucking video just recapping
I like
the show.
The first half because we had things to disagree and talk about, but the second...
Yeah, I think the first half was not bad. And again, I'll give him credit for like talking about the director and the character designer and, the staff members and actually naming them, like, because that's something that we don't actually see a lot of, right? So I mean, I'll give him credit for that. That was good. You get a cookie, but like, yeah, it's very typical Mother's Basement affair where he has like half the video where it'll be like kind of a thesis, kind of not, and then he spends the rest of the video either like just relaying the same thesis in another like lens or recapping the
scene
entire
by
show.
Scene.
So it's literally scene by scene and just being like, wow, I really liked that. That was cool, So yeah, no, I guess we'll just like cap it off by talking about Cyberpunk itself, right? Like, so my opinions on the show itself is I think it's good. I think it's worth the watch. I think it's a very interesting show with what it presents. It has very striking visuals that are very entertaining. I wouldn't say that it's like the bestest thing that's ever bestest the things, right? I wouldn't like suck its dick that hard. Right, but it's enjoyable. It's good. It's an entertaining show. There's nothing wrong with it, really. You'd have to like nitpick to really, like, in my opinion, find things that are like major issues. My only gripe is that I felt like it was a bit too predictable in that you can kind of see the plot line and where it's going really, like, around that halfway to like 1/3 of the way in point.
I said episode 2, the opening of episode 2.
Yeah, you kind of know where things are going to go pretty quick. And I wouldn't necessarily say that diminishes the enjoyment of the show, but I do think it is a negative to point out, right? I do think that it is nice to kind of be surprised. People like to be kind of like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's kind of cool, right? Like there is a level of like that. When things are predictable, it's kind of like, okay, all right, I get what you get. But again, that's like such a. I feel like in terms of like criticisms, it's such a minor like
I
little
guess,
nitpick.
yeah.
In the sea of like positives, right? Like in the context of like, oh look, there's all these things about the show that are like fantastic and absolutely amazing. You have like just that one little tiny little nibbling thing where it's like, it's kind of a problem, but it's not a major problem. It's like, so yeah, that's my assessment of the show.
I guess there are plenty of shows that are predictable in one sense or another, like Overlord. Mr. Overlord is going to win, but it's never really about how he's going to win, and it's more about the struggles and considerations and.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like you can say it's a negative, but it's like, is it really? Like it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not sure.
I'm more, that Mr. Overlord is going to win, but what's really unknown about it is what consequences it's going to bring. And
also sometimes like the way in which he does it as well, and why the why behind
it. And the predictability in Cyberpunk here is that how it's going to end and for what reasons and etc. And that's I guess if you want I think your problem with the predictability is that the reasons and the whys and the kind of even maybe the motives or the themes behind it. While in something like Overlord, he's going to win, but how and what are the ramifications, etc. And
there's a bit of a difference. Yeah,
so,
I agree. Yeah,
but yes, like I said, the opening, you see the opening in episode 2, and from that moment onwards, I knew he was going to die by corporate. By the embodiment of corporate, and that happens. But I was still very immersed in it. I was kind of my personal nitpick is that I thought Lucy was very pushed to the background in the second half.
A little bit, yeah. She does. I mean, she is kind of going off and doing her own thing a little bit. But I get what you mean by that. Yeah,
but she's.
Because she is a good character. Like, she is, like, a really interesting and, cool
because
character.
She does...
Not just design-wise, but,
because she does a lot of cool stuff, and you see, 5-second things of her doing very cool stuff. But then she's gone again, and I just wanted, a full minute of an episode of her doing cool stuff instead of disappearing and then being kind of sad again. So even though she is, I guess, almost, she is there quite a bit in the second half, she's just kind of she does too much of her own thing that doesn't really connect to the rest. Because, her goal is to get Arasaka to not know about David. And that would necessitate her being in the background, but I kind of feel it's put her character in the background as well, and that's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
So that's,
and again, it's like what I'm saying. It's like that's like a criticism, but it's such a like. It's not like it kind of detracts from the overall.
Well, the
quality.
The part where it detracts is that I like Lucy and I want to see more Lucy.
Well, you want to see more,
exactly.
Lucy
is not on the screen. The question should be, where's Lucy?
Where is the? Yeah. I get you.
We talked about the themes and how the themes are good, etc.
Yeah.
And we talked about so much about this. We talked about it.
Yeah, we've already gone over a lot of it.
And even if we're not mentioning it, us talking about it so much means we liked it for that reason. And like I said,
there's a lot to talk about it. Yeah,
and it made me sad, and I don't like being sad, but it's a good show for making me sad.
yeah. Cyber depression. We've all got cyber depression. All right, so I guess if there's nothing else, this has been Critical Critique. Pause on point for another video. We will catch you guys
later.
Next time. Bye.